Welcome to my apiary. Oh, it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, November the 7th. Doing a favor here for my brother, actually. It's something kind of cool, something kind of different. I drive his 2005 Peterbilt highway tractor about 100 kilometers, actually out to my farm. And just something a little different. I don't have a mount or anything in here, so I don't know if I can video any of this. I just thought you might be halfway interested in what's going on. Bobtailing, so I mean I don't have a trailer, which makes things maybe a little easier to drive in some ways, a little harder to drive in others. Some momentum with a load is kind of nice sometimes, it makes things smoother, easier to handle. And I'm not very good at this. I don't do this often. It's kind of like riding a bicycle. You don't really forget, but I lose my way sometimes. There's a 13-speed Fuller transmission, and I'll give you a little lowdown on that. And you can, hopefully, I can set the camera and you can watch some of that if you're not familiar with how that goes. So what we've got here is basically a 4-speed transmission. It's a 4-speed, has a low, and I'm not going to explain all of the nuances of this, but what I'm going to be using here are just first, second, third, fourth. But there's two ranges. So you have first, second, third, fourth, and then you have high range. You flip that up, and then you go 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I said it's a 13 speed. 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're really hauling a heavy load, maybe up a grade or something, you can split 5, 6, 7, 8 with this. So you can go 5 low, 5 high, 6 low, 6 high, 7 low, 7 high, and that kind of thing. So once I get up to high gear, high range, then this is what's called a 13 over, so meaning this is an overdrive. I think it's called a 13 over. Sometimes they're 13 under, so this is underdrive, and then the next one is direct. So I'll be pushing this ahead once I get up to highway speed, just to idle the engine back a bit and get this up into overdrive. So then I'll be in 4th gear, overdrive, high range, and that's the big wheel. That's highway. So the yellow knob is the parking brake here, so I'll be releasing that. Myriad of switches and gauges to entertain myself with, and the all-important Jake brake. Play with the Jake brake as you go, and it has cruise control, which is nice. Full air brakes, of course, and I'm going to be double clutching this. I could do some people call float shifting or power shifting or something, which is what experienced drivers do. My brother always does that. It's just matching the engine, transmission, road speed as you shift. There's no synchronizers on a transmission like this, meaning you need to manually synchronize the engine speed with the transmission speed to change a gear. Meaning you take it out of gear, you either increase or decrease the engine speed and then put it in the next gear, depending if you're shifting up or down. And sometimes there's a little grinding going on, but I'm double clutching. It's pretty forgiving when you're double clutching, so usually not a problem. Every once in a while I'll lose my way in this pattern and I kind of have to start from scratch, but we'll see how this goes now. I'm going to start low just for fun of it. And one thing, there's a little bit of a grind there, but you push the clutch right to the bottom, there's a brake. Stops the movement of the transmission. Get that into gear. So when you're using the clutch normally, you don't want to push it all the way to the bottom. You're going to be wearing that brake out. I'm just going to wait a second for braking traffic. Make sure I'm not holding up anybody. very short because there's no load, no gears. And you can easily start a couple up when you're just bobtailing like this. So that's 4. So now I'm going to high range back into what was first gear. Now we get some taller gears and it starts to pull a lot more on the 460 cat under the hood. It's a twin turbo, so you can hear a nice sound when they spool up. It's only 70 kilometers an hour. So now that's high gear. That's 4th gear on the main transmission. And not to make you think it's more than one transmission, it's all one piece. And my only thing left is that little overdrive on the side here. But I have to make an exit here, so I'm not going to bother with that right now. Hopefully the camera doesn't fall over. Rev it a lot. Bobtailing has got plenty of torque. Right now we're looking about 1200 RPM. You don't want to get too much lower than that in the higher gears, but that 460 is no problem here with no load. It's all good, easy peasy. We're on the highway now. Gonna throttle up. I'm at 100 kilometers an hour now, and I'll go to that overdrive. And it's just air shift, so I'll shift it, I'll back off the throttle a little bit, and it'll click in. So at 100, that brings my RPM back down to 1300 RPM. There's a rough railway crossing coming here, so you might fall over. Let this run as long as it will. Guess we're still okay there. Gonna get adventurous and set the cruise. No feet. Little speed zone here for 80, so we'll just go back into, again, I don't know if it's direct or overdrive, which way it is, but I'm going to call it direct. And we just start shifting the pattern back down. It's actually easier to shift when you don't clutch. You know, if you kind of know what's going on. not very many, and not recently, a long time ago. So I'm a licensed driver, but part of being a qualified professional driver is knowing where you're at, knowing what you're capable of, knowing what you're experienced in and practiced in, and all that stuff. Realized that I performed a little habit that was taught to me 30 years ago by a driving instructor. The Sobeys rig went by me there, and I don't think he pulled in too much too early, but it was plenty early. And same with this pickup pulling this car trailer. So, you know, as soon as that happened, there was something instinctual that kind of made me a little nervous. I'm closer behind the vehicle, and coupled with what I was talking about, by maybe lack of practice and experience recently in the vehicle, and I didn't even notice it happened, but my right foot went over and sat on top of the air brake pedal, just to give me that extra split second that something happened. You know, I don't know what's going to come out in front of that truck. I'm kind of caught in the right lane at an interchange here. I'm going to slow down a bit. So I can change lanes. Give the cars opportunity to merge and exit. That's something a lot of drivers don't do. It doesn't matter if you're in a big rig or a pickup or a car or whatever. You know, you come up to a situation that's a little different, a little bit unknown, and a little more happening than normal. Just slow down a bit. Just slow down a bit. You know, you burn off a few kilometers an hour. That means a lot when things start going sideways. And you're going to get there. Everybody's going to get there. Don't need to push it all the time. So I'm in the left lane. There's a big fuel truck coming on board right here. So I'm going to stay in the left lane. Keep my speed up. Let him merge. Then I'm going to get back over the right lane, because I need to exit another kilometer or so. So going back down through the pattern a little bit. Right and high gear, high range, overdrive. So here in a little bit I'll just drop the overdrive to start with. I have no idea what the audio is going to be like. I'm sorry if it's quiet. I'm trying to speak up. The overdrive. Another thing about the difference in a truck like this, we're looking at 80 kilometers an hour here, so I can lock that right in. A little bit of a tight curve. I'm going to lock it in a bit under 80. Still in high gear, high range, so it's plenty low RPM. I could drop another one, but it's alright. So I was going to mention, in a bigger vehicle like this, the signals don't cancel. It's not an auto canceling system. So that's one of the things that you need to do yourself. Is when you make a lane change or you make a corner, that signal lever needs to be moved back to the park position once you're done displaying your signal. And if you're one of of those people that never display signals at all, then bully on you. That's great. You never have to worry about that. But that's not me. It was amazed to me. This car behind me, it's a little car, little Ford Focus or something. This vehicle I'm driving is, I don't know, 30 feet long or something, and is 8.5 feet wide, and it's between the lines, and the little Ford Focus is all over the place. He can't keep it between the lines. Oh well. It's not that he can't, because he doesn't care to. And that's the difference. It's not that you can't do it, it's that you don't care to. This is where I kind of lose my way sometimes. Holy cow, that was close. Changes lanes about 15 feet in front of the truck. Oh man. No idea. Get down into the next gear. The whole system is drive-by-wire. The throttle is not linked, mechanically linked to the engine. So the RPM control is very precise. Little movement, movement on the pedal, and the engine responds perfectly to that. See, that's a no clutch shift. Kind of cheated there a little bit. There's another one. Not the most smooth thing, but up a lot better than down. Should be it until I get home, really. 30 miles up the highway. park it now, and that's it for a while. Looks like somebody drove in behind me. Better go see what they want. Have fun.
So cool.